It's time to take 5 for safety. It's time for another episode of Let's Not Die Today on the Toolbox Talk Show Network.
Are you a small business struggling with creating a training program? Are you looking for an easy-to-use, inexpensive solution? 7TAPS, micro-learning made easy. Create courses in just minutes. Get 10% off the annual subscription using our special code. Check it out at toolboxtalkshow.com/training. Our topic today, personal protective equipment, or what's commonly referred to as PPE. Let's start with definitions. How does OSHA define personal protective equipment? Equipment worn to minimize exposure to hazards that cause serious workplace injuries and illnesses. These injuries and illnesses may result from contact with chemical, radiological, physical, electrical, mechanical, or other workplace hazards. Simply put, PPE protects an individual from harm. Football players wear helmets to protect their heads from injury. Roadies and rock bands wear hearing protection to prevent permanent hearing damage. Firefighters wear respirators to keep them from inhaling smoke. In industry, workers wear eye protection such as goggles or safety glasses to protect their eyes from chemical splashes or flying objects. Types of PPE can include gloves, shoes, hard hats, respirators, coveralls, vests, or even full body suits. Let's talk history. PPE has been around for a long time, but probably not in the way you typically think about. Medieval knights wore armor to protect them from arrows that could pierce their flesh, hammers that could crush their body parts, and swords that could hack off their limbs. In the Middle Ages, blacksmiths wore aprons and helmets to shield them from burns caused by molten metal. In 1898, the Bullard Manufacturing Company produced the first hard hats. These hard hats were often referred to as hard-boiled hats because steam was used in the manufacturing process. It looked like a baseball cap made of steam canvas, glue, and black paint. It was patented in 1919. In 1880, an eye protector patent was issued to P. Johnson. In 1909, the Julius King Optical Company invented the first safety goggles. In the late 1930s, Red Wing Shoes produced and sold the very first steel-toe boots. Let's talk statistics. According to the Bureau of Labor, nearly 3 out of 5 workers who suffered an eye injury were either A, wearing the wrong type of eye protection, or B, not wearing eye protection at all. OSHA estimates nearly 71% of hand injuries could have been prevented using the proper PPE, specifically gloves. Yet 70% of workers don't wear gloves, and of those who do, 30% don't wear the correct gloves for the job. Let's talk safety. Safety tip number 1, assessment. What kind of PPE do you need for the job? For starters, survey the work area and identify any dangers. Is the appropriate PPE available? Just like you have to have the right tool for the job, you have to have the right PPE. In the Zack Snyder film 300, the Spartans didn't go into battle without their shields, and neither should you. Tip number 2, proper fit. Make sure all of your PPE is not only correctly fitted, but properly worn. PPE is not a fashion statement. We all have to make sacrifices. Tip number 3, inspection and maintenance. Is your PPE in good condition? Is your hard hat cracked? Is your harness frayed or damaged? Are your gloves worn out? If so, take them out of service. Tip number 4, PPE is the last line of defense. Anytime a hazard is present, engineering and administrative controls are always implemented first. Still, if we cannot control the danger, we use PPE, which is why it's so important. Tip number 5, evaporative acts. A fancy term for when a person follows the safety rules, but only when a supervisor or safety manager is watching. So folks, always wear your PPE, even if no one is watching. I want you to go home with all the parts the good Lord gave you. Following these tips can prevent accidents, injuries, and even death. Thanks for listening to another episode of Let's Not Die Today. Remember our website, toolboxtalkshow.com, where our slogan is, just press play. As always, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. If you love what we do, please tell your employer about us. We love you too. See you next time.